Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and write on Macs and iPhones and iPads. Do subscribe because, there's always so much to talk about. And in this case, a bit of a blur, really, between writing and technology. It is about writing and it is about being a writer. But today it's specifically about writing and being a writer who has an iPhone. Now, while you definitely can, and actually I definitely have written thousands of words directly on my iPhone, the main point today is actually that slightly different. It's the fact that this is the device you have with you everywhere all the time. So it's about exploiting that fact to help you and me with getting information, with making sure we don't forget things like story ideas that pop into our head, all sorts of things like that. And actually, is there a bit about, you can get too dependent on apps when you should just get on with writing? There might be something about that. I wouldn't 100% count on it. Instead, in no particular sequence other than it just feels like the right order. You're a writer, you know when a sequence seems right. Here are 5 more iPhone tips for writers. Hey Iris, what's my briefing?
It's currently cloudy and 11 degrees. Expect partly cloudy skies for this evening.
That's it. Ask your iPhone for a briefing, or actually you can say, hey Iris, what's my update? Either one works as long as you say Siri instead of Iris. You get it. What you get the weather where you are. You get any events that are on your calendar for today.
You have one more event today. Secret meeting at 2000 hours.
You get any tasks coming up to you, although very specifically only tasks in Apple's Reminders app. So that's no use if you're on a different to-do app as I am. You just don't get anything there. But then I love this bit.
China says a suspect.
You get a 2 to 3 minute radio news bulletin. Because I'm in the UK, I get that news by default anyway from BBC Radio. In the States, I think the default is NPR, but you can have it. I think you can change it to other things, and wherever you are, you can definitely say, no, I don't want news in this briefing. I want to get on with my writing. I don't want to be thinking about the world. And you do that by just saying, hey, Iris, or whatever, remove news from my update, and it's gone. To get it back later, by the way, when you're feeling a little out of touch with what's going on in the world, say, hey Iris, add news to my daily update. In this case, daily update is key. If you just say update, or if you say briefing, what I found is that the iPhone, it doesn't add the radio news back, it just gives you a list of headlines from it.
Here's some news.
I did that on a Saturday once. Every time you do news headlines on a Saturday, it's all sport. And it's like several words in before you realise, oh, it's only football. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Other problems. Say you're out. Writers do go out from time to time. Okay. You're out, and while you're out, you get an email, or you get a text message, or maybe you're waiting for someone, and just as they arrive, you happen to have found exactly the right website you need for your research. Total accident, stumbled on it. You'll never find it again if you don't do something, so you do something. And what you do is you say, hey Iris, remind me about this.
Okay, I've added it.
And it will. It just will. Sometimes Siri has to ask, what do you want to be reminded about? Like, it's not clear. And okay, that's only a few more seconds when you say it, but that's not great. It's not. I mean, it's good. It's just not as great as the reminder. In that case, will be just whatever you said to Siri. It won't be what you get when it does recognise what this is. Hey Iris, remind me about this. Will usually recognise what you're looking at and make a reminder about that with a link in it back to whatever it was. That is the tremendous thing here. If it is a website you've been looking at, well, the reminder has the title of the site and probably the page, and it has a link back to that page. And that's great. What more could we possibly want? Oh, we've got more, because it's the same with an email. It's the same with a text message. I do think it's clearest and handiest with a website, because in that case, when you look at the reminder later, what you get is there's like this whacking big link under the title of the reminder, and there's also a Safari browser icon to the right of it, which will also take you off to that linked site. With emails and messages, you only get that small icon, the email or the messages icon to the right. And actually, I missed for ages that's the link, but it is. I keep saying, by the way, the reminder includes this detail. Again, this is a case where it's specifically Reminders that does this. Apple's Reminders. It's Apple's own To-Do app, which you do already have on your iPhone, Mac, and iPad. Whether you know it, whether you've ever looked, it's right there. Fine. It's considered. It used to be considered a very basic To-Do app. It just gets better and better, and it's good now. It's not great and wonderful, but actually it's really, really good, which is nice. Except I don't use reminders. If you use OmniFocus, as I do, or Things, then you can have those two apps talk to reminders. So in that case, anything you add by this remind me about this, or actually anything you ask Siri to remember for you, they do go into Apple reminders, but it's like they then hop on to Things or OmniFocus. Things and OmniFocus pull them out of reminders and into their own apps for you. There is, by the way, I found out there's a way to do this with Todoist as well, another heavyweight to-do app, but in that case, you've got to use a third-party service. You have to use IFTT if you know that. I've only just found that out, so I don't know what happens if you do it, and I don't know how this works with Things, but with OmniFocus, what happens is, yes, you get the reminder in OmniFocus, but the link doesn't survive the journey. You just get the titles. It's usually enough. It's usually okay. It's not the best. Look me straight in the eye and tell me I'm wrong. You have a very bad habit of going down rabbit holes whenever you're on a website. Yes, you do, because everyone does. Am I right that writers do this worst? You go off to research something, right? What date and event happens? A very specific fact, straight in, straight out, no. Is it hell straight out again? Next thing you know, you might have found the date, you might not, but you're deep into the history of chocolate buttons. Okay, we can cope with this. When you are many, many pages down in a website or things like that, press and hold on this back button in Safari, the bracket icon. It may be in a different position, top and bottom of the screen, depending on how your iPhone is set up, but in Safari it's always this bracket, backward facing bracket kind of arrow. If you have been to any websites on the specific Safari tab that you're looking at now, you've been on to any websites before the one you can see now, well, they will all be listed, and you can just tap on that list to go back to any of them, right to the start, one in the middle, anywhere that will get you where you need to go. Note, by the way, that if any of the sites you've been looking at today have opened up in a new tab, that's as far back as you can go in that tab. You would have to close that tab, go back to wherever the previous one was, then press the back arrow on that previous. You're following this. I tell you what, actually, to make up for this, remembering which tab you're on stuff, holding on this back icon or bracket or button, or even actually in some apps the word back, when that's all that appears, it works in everything. It works in all iPhone apps, including things like settings. A quick one. This, if you need to move a lot of apps between different home screens, like you're setting up a serious work home screen with all your important worky apps and things, but then you've got a weekend one where you just, all the things that interrupt you are pushed away somewhere. I'm thinking about Slack here, and possibly messages, possibly now. Anyway, you can do this. You've done this bit, press and hold on one app and get it jiggling. I believe the official term is jiggle mode. There it is, jiggling. You've done this, you've moved around, but in this case, press and hold, don't move, don't let go. Keep holding down on that one app, and then with another finger, maybe another hand, tap on any others you want to move. Just tap on them. As you tap, they fly underneath your held down finger, and it's like it gets heavy. It's like, when you've got them all, Okay, you can drag the lot to wherever you want. This is my favourite, and I only just found out about it. If you knew this one already, why did you not tell me? What are the comments for? Do you know you've got Apple Maps on your iPhone? Okay. You may well know that when you're driving or walking, you can share your ETA with someone. So useful. It sends them a message saying when you're due, and then you get delayed or something, it updates them for it. You don't even know that it's doing it. Really useful. What I didn't know until this week was just how spectacularly easy it is to just simply, quickly tell someone where you are right now, exactly where you are right now. In a message, type the words "I'm at" and then tap the space bar. Your iPhone then offers you your current location. Tap that, you don't even know what it is, just tap that, that'll do, and a map of where you are right now is sent to whoever you're messaging. And they can open it up in Apple Maps and have a route straight to you. I could have done with that once actually on a long research trip I did actually it was in France, and we've had Brexit since then. Brexit's given control back to the UK or whatever that is. What it's really done is, one of the many things it's done is allowed mobile phone companies to charge more than the European Union lets them. So, yeah, of course they do. When you're there for a UK user who goes into the rest of Europe, well, you have to watch your data use because the costs are just phenomenal. So, bad example there, William. But in your own country, right, meeting a friend, you're lost, they're late, I'm at, is useful. Actually, not just because of this. I mean, all the things we talked about today, all 5 of them, what really interests me as a writer is that it's like it's a different approach to something. For decades, right, countless people were inventing tools to do various things, right, to help us find out, the weather, to speak to some, all sorts of things, and they were trying different devices, different tools. And then along comes the iPhone, right, and then along comes Android as well, and they don't do any of that, any of it at all. What they do is invent the ability to send and receive information, and from that comes everything else. Don't know what it is. There's something there, I think, for us as writers, something about a totally different approach working out. I don't know, but it's on my mind. Anyway, that's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Now take care of yourself, eh? Write more, and I'll see you soon.